Okay, so let's go back to that moment in service. You and Tom are there. We take a moment. We commission you guys. We pray. We thank God for the work that's set out for you. What's going through your head then at that moment?
No, God, you got to show up.
Yeah.
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 Because you get a commissioning so that you receive something, not so that you do something or create something of your own.
Okay.
You're there to be present for God to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we were just talking about just writing a song, Dale's going to write a song, or you just write a song and we're going to do it on Sunday. No, this was like a commissioning moment for both me and Tom. So it was like we actually were supposed to do less and allow God to do more for the church.
I love that.
Waiting on a miracle when all is bleak.
Yeah, so it's about experiencing the touch of God and creating atmospheres and things that help people experience God. And so that's why that line is so important to me. I felt his touch, because that's what sets up the chorus. Because once you felt his touch, you can say, I know the heart of God. Not, I read some stuff about him in the Old Testament and I'm kind of confused. Or I read Revelation and I'm kind of confused. Someone teach me to know what God is like. But when you have an experience, when you know what you know because of God touching your heart, all the questions, at least for a moment, they go to the sideline. Because it's not about anything other than you and God at the moment.
His name is Jesus. Jesus. I know what his heart is. His name is Jesus. Jesus.
So after this song, you know, you and I have been talking about that. It's like, okay, it's something very official about this song for our church. You know, we're celebrating 5 years of Jesus' faithfulness to the bridge, and I mean, we're kind of pulling out the stops, and the song is one of them. But you and I talked about, like, okay, well, we can't just stop here. What do we do?
Yeah.
What are we doing after this? And I mentioned to you earlier in passing, you had mentioned the idea, and I totally agree with it, and it just resonated with me that we would probably have other versions of this song. And I don't know why that resonated with me so strong, but I just agreed. Like, in my heart, I'm like, yeah. And so I'm looking forward to that. But I'm also just past this song, just ready for the more songs, more stories, more, I mean, I don't know if it's clothing or whatever, but just what God has put at the bridge for his glory as disciples are being made, and our responsibility in encouraging one another, building one another up, and making sure that gets outside of the walls of the bridge. That's what's next, you know? And I'm excited about that. I think about, you know, both of us, we both have kids, and our kids are a part of this church, and we're doing something that, you know, when we die, as long as God has got the church and he sees eternal good, I mean, this is something that impacts the next generation, that our kids are seeing us do in terms of how we make a contribution to a local body of believers outside of our own, you know, family context. So I'm just really excited to keep worshiping Jesus in all these different ways, and always letting it be that simple. It's just that simple. Our goal isn't fame, fortune, there's no, ours is Jesus, and we can do this. This is
Yeah.
pretty simple. So it's like, well, what can we do, to worship?
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is one of the things that we can do. This is one of the ways that we can be responsible with what we've been given to feed people, to make them stronger in their faith, to redirect them, to point us and others to Jesus. And so it's like, well, this is just who we are. It's not, and it's great that it's who we are. I like that it's not like some stressful, contrived, like, oh, I'm trying to be like this person. I'm trying to be like,
Right.
It's like, no, this is simply who we are.